welcome back to the Angel News Network and our interviews with Michael, channeled by Jeff Fasano. I'm Joel Anastasi. Michael, I wanted to ask you about the economic recession we're having in the United States and the question of abundance. We've been in a recession now for over 2 years, and millions of people have lost their jobs and their homes, and they're feeling a lot of stress and pain. And of course, we want to create abundance in our lives. What counsel would you give us about how we can create more abundance in our lives in the midst of what is a very difficult economy with few jobs to offer?
It is about defining what abundance is on a personal level. Meaning, dear one, what is abundance for you? What does abundance mean for you? Are you looking to fill up a mythical emptiness within you by filling that up by looking outside of yourself to make more money, to acquire more things, to have more things? Or, dear one, is abundance fulfillment? Fulfillment in your relationships, fulfillment with yourself, fulfillment with life. You see, dear ones, it is about looking at your definition of what abundance is in relationship to what you have been conditioned and taught that abundance is. Meaning, I am abundant when my bank account is full. I am abundant when I have all of these material things in my life. Is that abundance, dear ones? For abundance is personal. Abundance is fulfillment. You are fulfilled in your relationship where there is a balance of giving and receiving. You see, dear one, abundance is personal. Yet abundance is based upon knowing fully who you are and your talents and gifts. For when you fully know, honor, and love who you are, fully know, honor, and love your talents and gifts, then you will know from where you give and what you give. And in honoring and valuing and loving you and your talents and gifts, you will then also know what you need and your boundaries thereof. Meaning, in giving and expending the energy outside of yourself by giving of your talents and gifts and honoring and valuing all of that, you will then know what you need in return to equal that balance of giving and receiving. Meaning, if I am giving this amount of energy, expending this amount of time on giving this, then what I need in return is an equal amount of that in return. Thus, I am fulfilled in the relationship, whatever that is, and thus the feelings in the depth and breadth of my heart space from that fulfillment fills me up from within. And therefore, I am abundant because I have determined my abundance. Does that make sense to you, dear one?
Yes, it did. Of course, it's a wonderful full answer that applies to everybody. I'm just wondering, would you have anything special to say to people who are finding themselves in a real crisis? So, for example, they're having trouble putting a roof over the heads of their families and getting enough food for their family?
It is about looking outside of yourself at your old belief systems. It is about moving within the depth and breadth of your heart space to know, once again, dear one, who you are and the power of you. Knowing, dear one, where have you placed your powerfulness? Do you know your powerfulness? Where have you given yourself away to the mythical leaders outside of yourself, the mythical mom and dad figures, asking them outside of you to take care of you? For the one, the question comes back to, are you looking outside of yourself for others to take care of your life? Where might you be giving that power away? Where can you now, based upon where you are, for dear one, everything that transpires in your divine plan is perfect. So if those outside of themselves right now are finding that they are in a predicament of scarcity, living in lack, limitation, fighting deprivation, and struggling to survive life, the first question that they can ask themselves is this: am I looking outside of myself to those outside of myself to take care of me? Can I now move within the depth and breadth of my heart space, stand in my power knowing who I am, knowing what my talents and gifts are, and move within that? You see, dear one, it is a step-by-step process. First, dear one, look outside of yourself. Have you given your power away to others to take care of you? Are you doing that? And find your answers thereof. And be honest with yourself. It is time, dear ones, to look into the mirror and to be honest with yourselves, to speak your truth to you, and answer that question. Have you looked outside of yourself and looked at others, looking for mom and dad, the mythical leader figures? For mom and dad, to the wounded child, is that wounded child's leader. For the wounded child knows nothing else, for it is a child. So have you allowed your wounded child to be the one leading you on the pathway through life? Thus, looking outside of yourself to your mythical leaders to take care of you. Have you been doing that, dear ones? If in fact you answer yes, dear ones, the next step is, what do I now need to do inside of me to regain the power of me? To find the power of me. To find who I am. So I then can take the next step to remember my talents and gifts. You see, dear ones, what will transpire, dear ones, at the beginning of your year of 2011 towards the year of 2012, there will be many who will be discovering, dear ones, how they have looked outside of themselves, given their power away to the mythical leader figures outside of themselves to take care of them. It is now time, dear ones, if you so choose, to look into the mirror and ask yourself this question: have I given my power away to those outside of me, for them, mom and dad, to take care of me? Does it help you with your question?
Yes, very much so.